You gotta accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In-Between. You gotta spread joy up to the maximum, bring gloom down to the minimum, have faith or pandemonium's liable to walk upon the scene. Accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative, and latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In-Between. You gotta accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In-Between. You gotta spread joy up to the maximum, bring gloom down to the minimum, have faith or pandemonium's liable to walk upon the scene. Accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative, and latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In-Between.
My name's Adam, and I've spent the last 20 years of my career leading, growing, and building companies and teams for lasting impact. It would be my honor to come alongside you and help you to do the same thing. Whether it's in the corporate world, a brand new small business startup, or a 100-year-old family business, I've seen it and I've led it. Starting with defining your purpose beyond profit, we unlock strategies across every part of your business so that we can arrive at what I call asymmetric endurance, allowing you to get your time back while the business continues to grow, succeed, and achieve its true purpose. If you're ready to build an unbreakable business, let's talk. Book 15 minutes with me today at kingdommindsetstrategies.com.
3, 2, 1. Well, thank you for tuning in to Miracles Online Podcast. This is a podcast about relationship, love, dating, marriage, commitment, all the great stuff in our life. And I'm your host. I'm Jeff, and this is...
I'm Kat.
So, Kat, what are we doing today?
Hi, my soulmate.
Wow, we're going to start with the soulmate.
My one and only. So we had a discussion, and well, before we go further, welcome to episode 31. And the title of our show is There Really Only One Person for Each of You, each of us? Or have we been sold a bill of goods, chasing a feeling instead of a connection? And we're going to hit some topics on just that. So stay tuned. So Jeff, let's dive in and give us your thoughts about the topic today. Is there really only one person for us out there? I hope I'm your only one and only. But
of course, we discussed this before we got on the camera, and she looked at me and goes, "What? What?" Okay, so my point of view is, of course, through all my studies and my research and so forth, and my opinion formed from that. I do believe this. As a consciousness, and as a soul, we all come from the same source. It's this, I would say, no limit, no boundary energy field. Okay, so if we envision it like a ocean. Now, make it circular. I believe that everyone in here is connected. However, the ones that we're with, the one we feel the most familiar with, are probably the energy that's closest to us. So
now, what do you mean, Jeff, by closest? Do you mean geographically or within 10 miles?
No, I'm talking about the source of the energy.
The energetic field.
And the way I read, and this was described a while back in a book. I can't remember which book I read it from, but it made perfect sense. the conscious field, let's just picture it like a bicycle wheel, and there's spokes in the wheel. We're all encompassed with the wheel. However, there are definitely people that you don't feel very much resonated with, or you feel they're very, like not, compatible with you and whatnot. But we're still from the same wheel. So what I've come with the understanding is that they may be on the opposite side of the wheel when their spokes are extended, where someone like Kat and myself, she could be near the next spoke with me. So this is where the familiar pool. And also I do buy into and understand the so-called soul contract and reincarnation, those things. So my personal view about this is that the ones that we're with in our circles may have come to this so-called earth school and continuously to refine ourselves in the lessons. And some of the lessons we may not have learned last time. Like I've told Kat before, I believe she was my husband somewhere else. And she, of course, looked at me like, yeah, really?
I beg your pardon.
Yeah, but then there's plenty of times it goes, go make me a sandwich. And I'm like, yes,
Wait
dear.
a minute. We've already agreed that, the best chefs are male out there, the majority of them. So that wouldn't be gender specific.
I'm just talking about what goes on in our household. I'm starving. I'm hungry.
So you
Hurry,
think,
go make her something to eat.
You think I was your husband in a previous life?
I think there's a relationship to that. I really do.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of I think Bird was
go get my tile.
I think there's connections all throughout, little pieces and so forth. So it wouldn't be surprising for that. And a lot of this of course has been written from other people as books about reincarnation and so forth, and documentations of people knowing their past life and all that. But recently I watched a video from Dolores Cannon. Of course, Dolores was a researcher in hypnosis, hypnotherapist, right?
Yeah.
So she did past lives and so forth, and wrote books about this long before people were fashionable looking into this.
Because she's since passed on the other side.
Right.
She was a pioneer in her field.
Right.
Absolutely.
And she says we're here for the Earth School, learning our lessons, and we tend to come back with the circle that we've been working with over and over, because especially if we're constantly failing at certain things of the lesson, that we're going to come back and basically place maybe a little bit differently in the pecking order dynamic aspect of it, but the lesson is still there for us to learn.
Absolutely. I think that when there's situations, challenges, which we all have in this journey, that God either fixes the challenge or takes the challenge as an opportunity to fix us.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I also believe that shared values and presence matter more than fantasy-based attraction. And that's kind of what I'm talking about, is that, again, we're going to blame the media. It goes back to lots of media indoctrination.
Disney.
Let's not get banned. Indoctrination that tells us that everything should be, fireworks going off, and that's really the determination of a soulmate. And we kind of know, and as does the studies reflect, that 1 out of 2 marriages will end in divorce. That's not the glue that keeps a relationship together. Right. Would you agree with that, Jeff?
Yeah, I do. And the aspect of it having the one and only, and just saying, oh, I'm waiting for the one. Let's be really honest here. You and I both have fell in love before with other people.
Sure.
So therefore, we do believe that love was genuine and true.
Absolutely. And I really believe not only in relationships, romantic relationships, but in life, in friendships. Not every friendship, not every relationship was written to be evermore.
Yeah.
It's a chapter that you then take with you and hopefully enriches your next relationship, right? In a way that prepares you. Right. So I truly believe you and I were being prepared, and as I believe most of us are, being prepared for this relationship.
Sure. But while we were in the other relationships, we were putting our efforts into that, thinking that was it. And of course, we
Absolutely.
work hard at it.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
so the intention's always there. But what we find is that for whatever reason, the maturity, the age where we're at, or the needs that we thought we were, placing in sense of importance, maybe differ as we got wiser, got more experience in life, and we start to understand, oh, well, this is why that relationship ultimately ran its course after X amount of time.
Absolutely.
type
I
of
mean,
things.
most of us had our first love,
Yeah.
many of us, at a very tender age, really before our prefrontal cortex was developed.
Yeah.
So certainly who we deeply, emotionally, and dramatically fell in love with at 16 changed
Yeah.
by the time we were 26. And again, everybody's maturity level
Sure.
and their map of relationships and
Right.
what they took away are all different.
Right.
But definitely we're constantly changing, as you call it, polishing the ball,
Sure.
and refining,
Mhm.
preparing for
Right.
that ultimate and that cultivation to be the one.
Right. And that's why, to me, that this topic is, something I think we need to address, kind of help everybody recognize on their own, because if there is the one and you found it right away, hey, that's great. Not everybody is here to learn the same lesson.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I, marvel at stories that, they met in high school and they're together for 50 years. That's just absolutely amazing. That was their story and that was their divine destiny. But for most of us, the difference between a soulmate and what I call a soul mirror, and that's that reflection. So those past relationships become a soul reflection. I believe it was Socrates, correct me if I'm wrong, said the unexamined life is a life not worth living. And I always reflect on that quote because I think we as humans, in order to learn, we need to reflect. We need to value and look at those soul mirrors, the reflections of what you might call failures, but they're just a path, a path on the pathway, a door that you opened, that you gained insight, knowledge, hurt, healing, all of those things that developed you to be where you are today.
That's correct. That's absolutely all the little things that you thought was maybe not as important. It's in the file. So again, the aspect of sometimes we romanticize this one and only thing, and this is the other aspect of, is it the myth or is this true? So the best way for me to be able to share this is to look at it as, if you're in the moment, then it's the one. You have to approach it that way, because if you
that's
don't,
all we have is the moment.
yeah,
right.
And you have to.
So
recognize
they could
it.
be the one for the moment.
But the thing, what I'm saying is, your effort and your intentions needs to be treated as such for it to really do truly fruit.
Absolutely.
To become the long life relationship, or the marriage that lasts, until death do us part. All these little things that we have already put in our thoughts and our paradigm in regards to what the soulmate or this one and only should be for us.
You're forevermore. And I believe everyone deserves to have their forevermore. Many of us, I was in solitude, if you will, raising 3 kids, but without him for over 12 years. And, oftentimes that's what I call a divine setup, because you have that time to reflect, to mirror, to really craft and hone your negotiables and non-negotiables that is outlined in chapter 6, I believe. Is it 6 or 3? In the book Miracles Online. So important, whether you're dating online or you're just preparing your mindset, doing your mirror reflection. It's so important to know thyself and to reflect on those soul mirror reflections. And it's awesome to put it down on paper, to go, okay, where I'm at this is what I want to attract. Now, what you want to attract even goes deeper. What you want to attract should be who you are or who you're becoming. So if you're not in the same vibration of who you want to attract, then I encourage you to work on yourself, to go, okay, what can I do to be more in line with this attribute or this characteristic, et cetera, that I so want in my significant other. Because by doing that, the universe will grant you, God will grant you the vibrational frequency that you're living and vibrating on, not coming from lack. Wanting is coming from lack. So be, elevate your being, and you will attract. I believe
agree.
that.
Yeah. And with the thought of not coming from the intention of void, which is I need someone, I desperately, or any of those things, that changes the dynamic of your balance. So you need to keep that in mind, that you want to have this so-called way of opening and looking for the love of your life without having to be off balance, that, oh, I'm just so lonely, I need someone to fulfill me, I need someone to complete me. While I understand all these things are, very romantic, but it's not really serving you, the self, in the true best sense, because of the off balance of, okay, give me. So where's the giving? There isn't a flow there. And all of a sudden you're starting to get constrict, you start getting closed off, and all of a sudden you find yourself dating. You're not getting all the best selections or opportunities that you see fit. Everybody you're meeting, no, they're not right. What is going on? I'm putting myself out there. You're doing things. So the intention, let's take a step back and look at that. Is your intention being overwhelmingly in the needy? Give me, I have to, I have to
find and search for the one, instead of focusing on being the one. Because it's a turnoff on a male perspective or a female perspective. And we've talked about this in previous episodes of some of your personal experiences, Jeff, but it happens on both sides, of the gender pool, that it's not attractive. So if you're constantly, in that realm of neediness, you're going to repel instead of attract. When you stop needing, all of a sudden the vibrational match is met, and you will magnetically attract who you are being. And that's who you're looking for, is the fullness of who you are.
Right.
But you've already got it.
Right.
So you don't need it. You're just going to attract it.
Right.
And together you'll become more than either of you separately.
Yeah.
And I feel that we've, I say that to you all the time. Yeah, we joke around saying the yin and the yang. No one's perfect. Everyone has weaknesses and strengths, et cetera. And I think very much so that we strengthen each other. I lift you up in places, and you lift me up in places that, are both, it fills gaps, I guess.
Well, it became that because we worked on refining this relationship. We constantly polished the ball, is the term. We constantly look for ways on how to make myself better, her make herself better, so we can be together better. And this is the opposite, where I'll give you an example. If you're taking this myth of, there's the true love, the only one for me, and then you're in a relationship and you're pushy about it, oh, we're twin flames. Oh, you're my soulmate, and you're pushing this. This could be actually something that drives somebody away when they're not ready to hear this.
And especially if you have a fantasy projection.
Very much.
So here's a connection challenge, Jeff, that I want to put out there. So go on a date. It can be first date, 7th date, 27th date, or have a conversation. And without any fantasy projection. And you've got to be aware of it first to actually control it. Okay. Practice just being present and curious. No projections, no fantasies, just present and curious about the other person.
Yeah, it's important to be, again, the true sense of being in the moment, because at that point, then
Absolutely.
there is no preconceived ideas that is running in your
Ideas,
programming.
fantasies,
Yeah.
false expectations.
And why are we so much on, against this myth and fantasy and preconceived? Because of this, these are the things that becomes the obstacles that causes roadblocks for you. And the reason why they're there is because their thoughts, their imaginations, and they're formulated from you putting it in there. There's nothing that actually proves it. So every one of us has a theory to how the one, or how to have the ultimate relationship. And ultimately, who is my soulmate? Yeah, of course, Kat's my soulmate. But how do we get this level of depth? That was time spent on Earth.
That was, but even before that, Jeff, and I think the poem I'm going to share at the end here will reflect it somewhat also, is that we put aside, both of us put aside, the unlikeliness, whether it was age, demographics, marital baggage. I will call it's not baggage, but we'll call it marital status. I had children. That's not really marital status. Sorry about that. Got to check in on my granddaughter. But we put those things aside. Had we not, we wouldn't have gone, the long haul to then refine our relationship and our connection.
Well, because we've talked about this in depth, like the first 6-7 days, like we've always shared in this story. When we were talking to each other that deeply, we literally had to see each other's philosophy and understood each other's philosophy to ourselves, our opportunities while we did have relationships with others, and why that didn't work.
Yep.
And
then reflecting those soul mirrors, like this is the lesson, and what I learned from this. And that's really what it's all about. That's what makes you richer as you come to the point where you are ready to connect with your soulmate.
That's right. And that to me is the contributing factor that gave us a great foundation to build on. Because without that, then it would still be, searching in murky water. We've been married 1.5 years. I still don't quite understand or know that if we're really compatible. No, that if that's the case, why were you married in the first place? We were already figuring out the compatibility, the strategy, the framework of what lifetime together really need to be, because we've been married before with other people that didn't work on that structure. So we weren't going to repeat that plan. We're not going to follow the same template that led us to failure. We're going to create something using things we learned that worked. And
I don't consider it failure. I know that's just a common
failure means, to
the next
left
step.
It. Yeah.
To the next step, because nothing is a failure in my belief. It's just a stepping stone to, again, a soul mirror to go, let me reflect on what worked and what didn't work. And, back to, I don't have a book handy here, but Miracles Online, building.
And of course, she says to me, you make sure you have a book out there so when we do this podcast, people can see it.
And he didn't. So.
Yes, dear.
Yep. He's in trouble. That's okay.
But was it my responsibility to get you the book?
A QR code.
Yes, QR code right here. You know what's amazing about technology? Again, let me say this. You could just tap on this QR code or take your phone to your screen and get the QR and just go right to the website. You get to learn about Kat. You get to see her with many different color hats.
And you can buy the book.
Yeah, you can get the book there.
And read the chapter on building a profile. Whether you're doing online dating or not, I spent a bit of time talking about, knowing thyself and really reflecting and putting down, okay, what are the things that I absolutely must have, non-negotiable in my next relationship.
Right.
And, again, that comes from those soul mirrors, those past relationships, et cetera, because what we want today is different than we wanted 10 years ago, et cetera. So,
but the fundamentals stays the same. We want to be loved. We want to be true. We want to be, adored. We want to be
Right. But
sense
what
of-
I'm talking about, Jeff, is what must my relationship significant other, what characteristics must they have? And that's, yes, the outcome is we all want to be loved. We will all want to be, to have someone who's loyal to us and so forth. But those negotiables and non-negotiables are different for other people. Different people.
For me,
Okay.
I would say that I wasn't too hard, other than just the morality in the.
You weren't too picky, huh?
No. Let me clarify that point,
please,
because
please do.
because the morality mean, you have to be a good-hearted person. Thou shalt not kill. Those type of things. But however, if you're into country music and you like to wear cowboy boots, I wasn't the kind of person that was going to go, well, I wasn't, that's not going to resonate with me because I had long hair and I'm wearing, a Slayer t-shirt. So those are the kind of things that didn't bother me. We could have bothered somebody else. I mean, she could have been wearing cowboy boots and cowboy hat. Howdy, folks. And went, no, there's no way I'm going out with a guy with long hair wearing a Slayer t-shirt. So everybody's so-called the checklist is definitely different and longer or shorter. For me, literally really was, how was your character? How was your heart? How was your experience? And how did you
yours were less surface than some people.
No question.
But okay, there's some very surface, from a physicality standpoint. I had a girlfriend who, she was actually, her and I were pretty close when I was researching for the book 27 years ago. And she really liked bald men.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, I like hair. Here I get a guy with hair down to here. I always like
cut your hair. It's everywhere.
Cut your hair if you're going to get a job here. So that's a physicality. There might be a woman that, well, he's got to make more money than me, or he's got to make X amount of money. That's surface. It's practical, but it's real for some people.
That's right.
So,
but how do you justify a soulmate by the amount of money they make? It doesn't even logically line up. That's what I'm saying.
So that's where you have to, come to your heart, soul, truth to determine, am I just looking to date and, have a travel mate, to sugar daddy or sugar mama or whatever, or am I looking for a soulmate? And even if you're looking for a soulmate, again, I can't speak for other people. There may be someone who's very deep and is looking for all the character and everything, but the money is a non-negotiable. So for me, because I was looking for other things, those would be nice, but not a non-negotiable.
Yeah, and I'll say this, if you're sitting there looking in this soulmate must have financial means to the level of, limos and yachts and
that's a lifestyle, honey.
It is a lifestyle.
That's
but
more
let
of
me
a
finish on
lifestyle
this.
than
Let
money.
me finish on this,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you why. That if you're going into it doing that, then the chance of really letting your heart open, it's diminishing, because you're placing so much stuff on the third density matrix here on what it should provide for you from this soul mate. And the fact remains, if you want true love, you can't put that barrier on there, because let's look at it. You can have all the amenities, the big mansions, the great stuff, and travel around the world, but your intimacy is very selfish. So the sex isn't really all there, and the caring.
So you're telling me somebody with a lot of money and provides all that, maybe you don't have intimacy or good sex?
No, I didn't say that. I'm
Okay.
saying that if that becomes that, and you're looking at it in a point of,
Are you trading? Yeah.
Is it trading, or is it that your myth that you're buying into something that is absolutely absurd and should not be used as a guideline? Because again, this whole topic is there a myth of being only one? That's the twin flame, the soulmate. Is there just one? Because if you're looking at it going, this one must have this, that, the other, and more.
Well, sure, you're limiting yourself, because again, that's not character.
And truthfully, how are you drawing somebody? Look what you're going to draw if you're adding those into the equation as your magnetism.
That is so key. I had a conversation with a young woman about my book, and she completely redid her profile because, you know, many young, maybe even, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s women are doing what other women, you know, they're doing the, you know, kissy face and cleavage and
duck
the
face.
sexy photos. Duck face. That's right. Duck face. Well, that's what you're going to attract. Why are you surprised when you get someone who's misogynistic, who just wants, you know, sex?
Well, I think society has taught people thinking
Yeah.
that's attractive or that's
Yes.
sexy or hot.
Yes.
And I don't know how
Yes.
that came about.
Instagram.
Is it Instagram or
filters.
did we just somehow got onto reality TV with Paris Hilton? And
Oh,
next
probably
you know,
that too.
all stupidity with makeup becomes hot.
Probably that
You know,
too.
there's whatever that reason may be. What we're actually, oh, that's sounding beautiful.
I know. Sorry. My apologies.
But realistically, the key factor is you're going to draw and attract what you're putting out. That's a key number one.
Yep,
You have
no
to know.
different than
Right.
vibrating, you know, on a certain frequency of neediness is you're going to get that back.
Yeah.
So, you know, don't put your hook in the
And
lake and think you're going to get out something different.
let me give you
Put it in the sewer.
a logic illustration of this. Okay, if we took a frequency, a tuning fork, hit it, and you vibrate the water, it's going to give you a water ring. Okay. Now, if you take a different frequency, different size of tuning fork, you're going to hit that, then you're going to get two water rings that's going to intercept, but different, and one energy is going to dominate over the other. But if you took two the same tuning fork and tap it together, well, you will find they'll resonate together and then blend and be perfect into one.
That's a good analogy.
You know,
We should
So
get out
you
our
need to
tuning forks and do that.
So how many times do you think I've done that? The key thing is I do understand that the reason why we're constantly failing at finding the one is because we're projecting out the wrong magnetism and the wrong intentions. And I was doing this myself while I was dating, and I had to constantly look back at it. Okay, that one didn't really resonate. Why? What was I looking for? Am I too needy? Am I just giving my heart out openly and see if people? And so there was that definitely that I realized that I was overwhelmingly loving, where another person was just, I'm casually dating. Well, of course that's not going to work if we're ready for marriage. This is where Kat and I came and said, are you ready for a real relationship? And of course she was, because just by the sheer profile she put together on her heart, her love that's ready to be with the one that's ready to receive it, it was so eloquently put together. I knew that was not about the third density matrix and, you know, the diamond ring walking on the beach or limo. That comes, but that doesn't matter as much as, are you ready for the heart? Are you ready for us to be incredible together?
Too bad we don't know where that profile is, huh?
Yeah, I guess we could try the Wayback Machine. Wayback Machine may have something.
Oh,
I don't
that's
know,
true.
but
That's true.
back then we weren't at the point of thought to go, oh, this is great. We need to screen cap this. We need to
Yeah.
save.
Well,
That's-
who predicted that the technology?
Well,
would,
the funny thing is, back in those days, we had no
We-
idea
we didn't
what
have
screen cap
technology.
was even
No.
about. We had no smartphones yet, so it
No-
wasn't
no
taking
smartphones.
pictures on
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
So yeah, the first thing I think we started logging was some of the emails that we started to exchange after about a week or so, and that's only documents I have. But the first week or the ads that we had and all that, no, we do have the pictures though, don't we? The original picture, like I have my original picture that was on my profiles. I have her black and white picture.
Oh,
that
you
she-
do?
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
pictures
because
of
it was a headshot. Yeah.
Because we both actually have prints of those pictures. That's why. You know.
That's right. That's right.
So
Keep talking because I need to find the poem.
Well,
I don't.
we're
see the
running
rest of
into
it.
the end of the episodes, and the Cat's got a poem prepared somewhere in the device, somewhere
Yeah,
on
it's
the
in my
desk.
phone. Hang on.
But before we go there, let me just
Yes.
say that please like and subscribe Miracles Online podcast. We've actually now started to really put together our Rumble channel for Miracles Online. And what we're doing is after they stream live on Red Pill Media, then about, I would say 3 to 4 weeks later, we will start to add them into our Rumble channel. So like and subscribe our Rumble channel. We also have a Substack. The idea about the Substack, what we put together is that we not only put the things that afterthoughts for our topics and episode titles, but we also put maybe some of the things that while we were doing research on these topics, and then we bring out that information and we put it in. So far right now, we haven't put any only subscriber content yet. We're waiting for that to be able to do something very special for you. So like a live, Q&A, those type of things. And those are in the works, but go like our Substack, which would be Miracles Online, CatJeff.Substack. And of course, Yayu Publishing, where you can get the books.
YAYU Publishing.com.
Absolutely. Support us so we can grow, help us grow, so we can spread the love and we make our world a better place.
Absolutely. And we welcome any topic suggestions.
Comments.
Yeah, comment and let us know if there's some topics we have not talked about yet, which I'm sure there's many.
We couldn't figure out. There was one comment that was either flirty or something that was it for me or was it for her?
It doesn't matter.
Or is it for us? Ooh.
Well, thank you for the comment, and wishing you not your fantasy, but wishing you your dream come true in your soulmate.
There you go.
So with that, I'm going to close with a poem.
Okay.
A heartfelt poem.
Heartfelt.
It's called The Real One.
Okay.
Which you are, the real one. They said you'd just know. A lightning flash, a cosmic sign, a look across the room that whispered, finally, you're mine. Yeah. But love didn't strike that way. It arrived slow, like sunrise, after years of waking alone and still choosing to rise. You weren't perfect, neither was I, but we were present, and that's what made it divine. You weren't the one I imagined originally, but you were the one who, not because it was easy, but because we both prayed for something real, and we both showed up when it came. A flickering of fireworks, a fountain of firelight, a connection so powerful that was enough to cause a flame.
Wow.
My one and only.
Yeah, one and only, and I love it. And thank you for tuning in to Miracles Online. We're very grateful and thankful for all of you in supporting us, because you make us really loved at heart, fulfillment at heart, and of course, enrich our lives. And with that, we're going to let our sponsor, Kingdom Mindset Strategies, take us out, and we shall see you on the next Miracle Online podcast.
Well done. You've done something that most only ever dream about. You've started and kept a business alive, and that's a huge achievement and one you should be proud of. Now, I want to help you make that business unbreakable. My name's Adam, and I've spent the last 20 years of my career leading, growing, and building companies and teams for lasting impact. Whether it's in the corporate world, a brand new small business startup, or a 100-year-old family business, I've seen it and I've led it. And what I've learned is building an unbreakable business often requires similar ingredients: clear financial insights, well-built systems, streamlined growth strategies, and optimized operations. Starting with defining your purpose beyond profit, we unlock strategies across every part of your business so that we can arrive at what I call asymmetric endurance, allowing you to get your time back while the business continues to grow, succeed, and achieve its true purpose. If you're ready to build an unbreakable business, let's talk. Book 15 minutes with me today at kingdommindsetstrategies.com.